a needle felted dragon head pin or brooch. Let's see how I went about making this. So I had a couple of inspirations for today's make. Now I know it's Japanuary and this little guy is kind of pushing the bounds of that just a little bit. I mean, you get Asian dragons. We're supposed to be making Asian themed things, but little secret, it's my birthday today and dragons are my favourite things, so I can fit what I want today. But we'll say he's kind of Asian. But I had a couple of inspirations for this. First of all, if you didn't see in my live stream, I mentioned how the Makers, which is a UK-based needle felting company, gave me an award this year, which was so awesome. And part of the award, now I've only got a little bit left because I used it, they had stuffed it full of this wonderful mix of fibres. There are so many great colours and a bit of sparkle and all sorts of magic in there. Now, if you want to follow along with this dragon, I'm pretty sure this blend does not exist and you'd probably want the colours separate anyway. So if you drop them a message and ask them for whatever colours you gave to Pam, and it's purples and reds and pinks and yeah, just the colours that I like. And I'm sure they'll be able to sort you out with a little something if you want to make this dragon head. And on a quick side note, you might notice this video is not an in-depth tutorial. I'm mixing things up a bit for the new year. So if you want to follow along exactly what I'm doing, I'll have this up on my second channel, which is Pam Duthie's Felting Academy. And this is just going to be, because I know, like me, there's two of you, isn't there? There's the person that wants the inspiration, just wants to see a project, just wants to be entertained for 5 minutes while you have a cup of coffee. And then there's the other person that wants to know exactly how did you do that. And I can't make videos. I can't make a video that pleases all these people. So we're going to do the fun, inspirational video here. And then if you want to know more, if you want to do better, if you want a real seeing what I'm doing, a more tutorial, get over there. So I'll put links once I've got that up and running. So the second inspiration, once I saw these colours, it immediately says to me dragon. I mean, everything says to me dragon. To be honest, when I see clouds in the sky, I see dragons. I have dragons on the brain. But I have had this little brooch for years. I got it, let's let you see even better. I got him at a craft show many years ago. I can't even tell you. It says Proteus on the back. I'm assuming, I just noticed that just now. I'm assuming that's the name of this dragon, this design that the person's made, but I can't remember who made it, which is really annoying, else I would link to them. It was decades ago I got this little guy. And I just remembered him, and I was kind of inspired by him, although they're not very similar at all at the end of the day. This is the thing, I take inspiration and I go running with it. So the eyes are the first thing I did on here. These are clear glass eyes at 6mm from Amazon, which I coloured in green with a Sharpie. I'd also considered going with red or something, but I'm glad I went with green because that really stands out and sparkles against the reds and the purples that I've done for the eyes. And then making a blank shape, making the head of the dragon. I'm just using that encarded white Corridale. Just use whatever core wool you want, making the dragon shape in a couple of simple parts, and then I work on shading this guy. This is the fun bit. Now the Makers made me a lovely blend, so I want to kind of blend the colours through but pick out different shades, different colours for different areas of him. So I picked out the pinks and the purples for the nose and round about the eyes, and then I picked out the blues and the purples for these kind of eerie things and his nostrils. The sparkles I think are called Angelina fibre, I can't remember. It's a gorgeous sparkly fibre. But it doesn't felt particularly well. It doesn't felt, it's a man-made fibre. It doesn't felt. What's happening is as the needle's catching over bits of normal wool, it's like stitching it in. So it's a pig to work with, but I think it kind of gives a nice little glint of almost scaliness. I might be hallucinating there, but that was my feeling while I was felting with it. But I will tell you, in general, it's a pig to felt with. You'd be better to do almost anything else with it. It's beautiful, and I'm sure it spins really well, or it can even wet felt quite well. It's not the best for needle felting. And the shape actually comes together so easy. It's super simple. It's just a few different shapes, really, when you think about it. You've got a kind of pointy ball, a tube, a couple of threads, a couple of lines to make his nose, more lines to make his eyebrows, and then a couple of big triangles to make these, I don't even know if they're ears, these flappy things on top of his head. But I'm super happy with how it turned out. I think the left eye is a little bit better than the right eye. The right eye seems to have gone a bit deeper set, and I think the eye ridge that I made was a bit too thick. I thought that while I was making it. But he has it's a she, really, isn't it? It's a she. She has a nice kind of little smile. I tried to felt up the mouth a little bit to give her a smile. I love the colour the eyes go. When you colour in with a Sharpie, they keep a real brightness to them. So I totally love that. And it's way cheaper than trying to buy green dragon's eyes or something. Obviously, you could, if you were purchasing them, you could maybe get more detail in them with lines and things. Or I could maybe paint that myself at some point, but it's lovely, and the way the light hits them, I'll see if I can catch that on camera as well, and if I can, I'll put it here. Yeah, I'm pretty happy. Okay, the original was far better. And also make sure if you're making this as a brooch, felt it really quite firmly, because if you're going to be wearing it, it's going to get a lot of wear and tear. To attach a brooch pin to the back of it, you can glue them, you can felt them on, you can sew them on with a needle and thread. It's super easy. I do have videos I'll link to in the cards up above when I find them, but I do have videos on attaching brooch pins to turn these into a brooch. And if you don't want to, you could just leave the back rounded. Attach this to a dragon sculpture. He would be really cute. In fact, if you did it to a long skinny body, it could be a bit of an Asian dragon. So we'll take this as a Japanuary success. Okay, I hope you love this little guy as much as I do. If you're interested and need a bit more help making him, don't forget to pop over to my more in-depth video. But otherwise, thank you so much for joining me. Give us a thumbs up to say happy birthday, and I'll see you next time.